Welcome to Totem Pole Nation. Lambos Water Sports feature the Big Butter Fish Side Sports Network. Um, Clemson versus Miami. All right. Clemson had two early losses. Of course, first game to Duke, then to Florida State. Miami got two losses as well. The most bad loss, the worst loss in the history of college football. I think it's worse than the 29-point blowout that Colorado suffered to Stanford. Because all you had to do was just take a knee. So that will bother them for the rest of the history program as long as Mario Cristobal is the head coach. Now, I think he'll turn around Miami, but Miami is not the Miami it was back in the Ed Reed days. They lost to UNC. They come off two straight losses. They only lost one game. But this is a game where two quarterbacks, Tyler Van Dyke's been there for a while, but the upcoming of Cade Klubnik, he's consistent, he's inconsistent. Now, Clemson has a new offensive coordinator named Garrett Riley. I think they've gotten better, but the last time I saw Clemson, and I watch them very closely, so I do my research, they scored 17 points against Wake Forest. Virginia Tech put up
30 on them bitches.
30. Yeah, I just want to make sure I have my information correct. So Garrett Riley's better off scoring than Tyler Bowen. I mean, he went to SMU. Look what he did at TCU. Took him to the national championship. And the offense of Clemson is lackadaisical. Miami, they have explosive. They got explosive running back Tyler Van Dyke. If he does not turn the ball over, that's just this pick is a really toss up for me. Tyler Van Dyke tends to turn the ball over in certain games, and I think last game he had 3 interceptions against UNC, and it's just like I don't know. I don't know who to pick in this game, but I'm gonna pick in my head in 2 seconds. 1, 2. I'm gonna go with Miami at home to beat them. I trust them. Now, both of these teams defensively they're okay. They're not good. Now, I said for Clemson before, they're not the same defense they have in the Brent Venables. It's not a Brent Venables defense they have. Wes Goodings in the second year's defense coordinator for Clemson. That is not the same damn defense. They run a 3-3-5, and that's a worse defense to play against a Miami team that has good receivers and a good run game. I'm going to go ahead and take Miami. But please do not mess it up in the final game. Take a knee when you have to take a knee. I'm comfortable with Miami. I'm not really confident in Clemson because I'm not sure if they're going to score 17 points, 31 points. And by the way, before you go on, they don't use Will Shipley enough. And he needs to get about 25, 30 touches a game. And I'm not sure what the scheme is when it comes to Clemson. Use Will Shipley. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with Clemson just because I trust the coaching decisions better. And I don't know if that's recency bias with obviously the mishap that just happened with Miami or if it's just, the respect for Dabo, I guess. But Dabo, obviously, up and down, 4-2 is not what you expect from Clemson, especially with 2 losses coming in conference. And obviously the last time they played was 2 weeks ago against Wake, and they put up 17 points against a defense that got shredded by Virginia Tech. So I don't know about the offense, but I do know something that this defense is, as well as it's not the Clemson defense of old, I will say allowing 85 rushing yards a game is not something that happens by accident. And allowing under 200 passing yards a game doesn't happen by accident either. And in this case, they're playing against a team that throws the ball a lot, and the running backs have success as well. This is a high-powered offense in Miami, but I do trust, like we talked about with the inconsistencies with Van Dyke, the turnovers. I think I trust this Clemson defense more than I do the Miami offense. And then also just looking into games prior, the loss against Florida State, they allowed 31 points. I think we both agree Florida State is a much better team than Miami. And I just and they put up 24, like they lost in overtime by a touchdown to Florida State. This is still a very competitive team. Whooped up on Syracuse, and Syracuse was a team the week before that we were talking about like, oh my God, they're 4-0. They're like making a change. Obviously, we've seen since then that they've lost like 3 in a row, or 2 in a row, whatever it is. So I think I just trust the Clemson defense more than the Miami offense. Now, the Clemson offense is going to need to get the ball rolling. Klubnik hasn't been turning the ball over. He's only got 2 picks, and he's not like wildly inaccurate or anything, but I think he's just got to tighten up a little bit. Shipley, like you said, I'm with you. He does have 91 carries, which is pretty high, considering, like where other running backs are. But I agree that when your quarterback isn't what you're used to at Clemson, you do need to get some more production, or at least give your running back opportunities for production more often. Then yeah, there are guys across the country, obviously, that have like 150 something carries. But when you need to get a new quarterback reps, you can't run the ball every single down. But I'm looking here, and he is 48th in the country in attempts. He's actually 1 spot below Bishal Tootin, who's the starting running back for Virginia Tech, and he's been running the ball a lot more recently as well. So, yeah, I think a little bit of a bump up in Shipley's attempts would serve them well, especially considering he's running at 5 yards a carry right now. But I think, it just comes down to the offense being able to flow, which we've seen them do it, and then we've seen them look, shitty and just not flowing together, not on the same page. So it just depends on which offense shows up, and I think it's going to be Clemson.
It also depends on if Cade Klubnik can read the field correctly, especially in that Florida State game. He couldn't even read a corner blitz. So he has to be able to read and make adjustments. He can make the audibles, but sometimes his audibles lead him to getting sacks. So I think the Clemson offensive line is a little bit of trouble. We can't give them all the credit in the world. They're a little bit of trouble. They're a little bit suspect. They just hadn't got exposed yet. They got exposed by Florida State. I feel like they might get exposed by Miami at some point in time, but I think it should be a great game to match. So this is it. Lambers Water Sports, Side Sports Network. Totem Pro Nation, please like, comment, subscribe. Tomorrow is recruiting videos. We will go over LSU, Miami, and Penn State in tomorrow's episode. And then, of course, the NFL top 5 W list is going to change. And at some point in time, and actually right now, it's going to be better than the Stephen A list, because I think Stephen A really messed up his list today, or earlier today. Stephen A really messed up the easiest list of all time. So the list will not be the same after 2 of the undefeated teams have lost. But we will let you know that in tomorrow's episode. Lambers Water Sports. We will catch you later. Y'all have a great night. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out. Adios.